Hello and welcome to week 3 of Johnson Community College's English 111 Online Summer 2020. Hope everyone is doing well. And here we go into week 3. Again, remember, since this is a summer class, we're kind of going accelerated here. So it looks like, oh my gosh, look at all the stuff I have to do. Well, yeah, but not really. Kind of, sort of. As long as you just keep working on it a little bit every single day, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. All right, so what are we doing this week? We are going to introduce a compare-contrast paper, our second paper. Yay! Okay. In your book, you can review the sections on writing compare-contrast. There is a video down here you get to watch about that. There is a video about revision, which will help because you are going to be revising one of your papers. And then there's a video on setting up a paper in MLA formatting, because remember, your narrative paper and all the papers should be in MLA formatting, and this will walk you through step by step. Just for giggles, I actually just created this video to help students out, and it's got like something like over 30,000 views just by people all over. So apparently people like it. All right. And then also review the section on assessing and your work and getting revision, which we kind of also do with the revision lecture. So that's the goals. All right, so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Well, we'll just have to introduce the compare-contrast paper. So that paper is found right there. Let's just go ahead and take a look at it. So for this paper, you're gonna write, again, 2 to 5 page paper in MLA formatting. And you're going to show that one thing is better than another, or the two items that are compare and contrasted should be similar. And you don't need to do any research on this. This is strictly kind of your opinion. You can use personal experiences as proof. So again, it's a 2 to 5 page paper on, you're going to compare and contrast two different things. And if you're like, what? I don't understand what you're talking about. Well, that's when you watch the compare and contrast presentation. It'll explain it more. So watch this compare and contrast presentation and then realize, oh, okay, I have to write a paper where I'm going to be picking two different objects and I'm going to compare and contrast them, and it needs to be about 2 to 5 pages long. It'll make sense once you watch this video and compare it to the directions on the compare and contrast paper. So you're going to start working on that, and your first draft of that needs to be submitted by Friday over in the discussion board. So again, you go to the discussion board and you would scroll down to compare contrast peer reviews, and you're going to upload your first draft by Friday. Okay? Yay. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to see what else we're doing this week. Okay. There is also a discussion forum, which we just kind of look at it again, for 2 other short little stories. One called Shooting an Elephant and one's called Salvation. And again, you will just post your first responses where you're going to answer these questions in the discussion board. And then you were going to respond to at least 2 people by that Sunday. And those stories are found right here in week 3. So if you scroll down, if you click here, you can read Shooting an Elephant. If you click here, you read the short story on Salvation. Neither one of them are very long, but you need to read those stories in order to do the discussion forum on that. All right. Last week you had submitted your first draft of your narrative paper and you got feedback from your peers, and now you're going to submit it. Also, you've been learning about revision this week, so you'll know how to do some revision. How you submit your final paper is you click here. Actually, I'm going to switch over to student view. Because if I click in as instructor, it may not work. Oh, and it kicked me all the way out. Let's go back to week 3. Okay. Now note, for your narrative paper, whenever you, so this is one of the 4 major papers that you have to submit. Please review the rubric. So if you click on View Rubric, it shows you exactly how you are graded on this paper. Okay, so if you're like, how do I get a good grade on this paper? Well, you can click on that and figure out what do you need to do to make sure that you understand how you're going to grade it. Okay, and then what's different from this as opposed to doing a journal entry is that you have this little plagiarism tool. It says, I agree to submit my paper to the global reference database. So you're going to upload your file. So you'd click Browse your computer and you'd upload one of these files right here. Notice that it doesn't say pages. If you're using a doc, a Mac rather. You can upload one of these to your computer, and then you have to click this little thing. What that does is it takes your paper and it checks it for plagiarism, and it sends me a report and says, okay, well, this is what they copied and pasted from these different sources. If you have plagiarized your paper even a little bit, okay, then you get an automatic 0 without a chance to redo it. So here's my advice about plagiarism. Don't do it. Come on, seriously, don't do it. Don't copy and paste. This is a narrative paper. It's completely something that's original work written by you, and no, you cannot submit a paper you had written for a different class. This is a different game. Everything for this class has to be original work. Okay, so make sure you browse my computer. You have to click I agree, and then you'd hit submit, and that is how you upload your final narrative paper. Okay, and then to help you understand the concepts of compare contrast, which you are going to be working on next, there's a little quiz. Again, you can take it up to 2 times. The highest score counts. And then if we look back up here, we have 3 portfolios due. Woohoo! Yay! Okay, so there's portfolio 4. Describe a person who has had a substantial influence on you. Portfolio 5. Reflect back on what you learned about your writing style. Once you finish kind of the narration paper. Portfolio 6, and this will help you create your outline for your compare contrast paper. Again, this is kind of explained in the presentation of how you can kind of set that up. Alrighty, and then last but not least, again, there's a video on how to set up a paper in MLA formatting, and there's a quiz that goes with that. And then if you look at the end of the week, you will see that you need to respond to 2 of your peers for when it comes to the compare contrast paper, and also the discussion board for salvation. So kind of a packed week, but again, these weeks are pretty jam-packed at the beginning of the semester. They do tend to get a little easier as the semester goes on, just to let you know, but we need to kind of get up and running and get going here. So make sure you just go through these step by step and check everything, and please remember that no late work is accepted. And that is it for this week. Have fun doing it. You can do it. All right.